So what I'm going to have you do is you're going to stretch your gastrocnemius, which traverses the knee and the ankle joint. Unlike the soleus, which you do your ankle stretches for the squat, is a little different. We're going to have you find an elevated surface, doesn't really matter what it is, on the ground. You're going to put the ball of your foot on it, straighten your knee, and just kind of lean into it. Feel the stretch in the gastric. Might get it back here. You might even get a little bit of hamstring action in there. It's totally fine too. 2 minutes per side. Show me how she's doing it.
How she's doing it?
Yeah. So what you've been doing is you kind of go down to grab the bar, and you're really breaking at the knees. But what we're looking for is for you to load your hamstrings to the point where they're super taut, and then you start breaking at the knees. So you're really loading that posterior chain before you grab the bar. She's going to show you what you're doing, which is with the knees. So go down all the way and just kind of hold it there.
Oh.
Yeah. See how there's no tension down here? It's all kind of in the quads and in the upper back, as opposed to stand up. And now go into loading your hamstrings. She shoots her butt back slowly, slowly until she can't. And your hamstrings catch here and here, and your glutes are going to fire too. This is also going to turn you into kind of an anterior pelvic tilt, get you that extension. Can you show me a little extension?
Here?
Yeah, there you go. And then do your movement. Good, awesome. So the next thing I want to address is finishing with the glutes as opposed to the low back. What a lot of lifters do is they will hyperextend to the back because their glutes and their hamstrings aren't either taut or weak. Could you show us what finishing with your back looks like? Yeah, basically, if you do it really slow.
Okay.
So imagine that you're pulling, you're finished, and you just keep finishing, and now you're finishing with your low back. The knees are actually going to get cocked forward, and that's going to be soft knees. That's no good for a meet. So what we want to do is we want to finish with our glutes, and it's going to look super strange. It's going to end up being like a boom. You're going to feel rounded forward, but I promise you're not. So go for it. Exactly. Can you do it one more time? Awesome. Can you show us the whole thing with loading your hamstrings and then finishing with your glutes? No, thank you. So for your bracing pattern, what we're looking for is this three-dimensional kind of expansion. So you're going to not only expand out here through your Valsalva maneuver, but you're also going to almost expand through your low back. So the way you know you're doing that correctly is when you breathe into your stomach first, and then you can also fill your chest if that's the kind of person that you are, depending on your needs. So it's the big pregnant belly, right? And then you're gonna brace and let those ribs go down. And through that, you should feel this pressure in your lower stomach, kind of like you're wearing a belt. And then also in your low back. And one way you can check that you're doing it right is when you go through the whole motion with your hands on your low back, kind of about here. You take a big breath, you brace, and you should feel this very small amount of expansion in your low back as well. So you're going to get it here and here. You're going to feel this large amount of stability. So the final thing that we're looking for is active lumbar extension in your deadlifts, which we are going to basically add into your program right now, but it's not going to be the main concern because it's a very long-term technical fix. What we're actually going to do for the rest of your 6 or 7 week prep is strengthen your low back as well as address your bracing pattern. But if we can also get that active lumbar extension, then that's awesome. But it's not the main goal. So what I want you to think about is when you're going down, you're loading your hamstrings, loading your hamstrings, loading your hamstrings. Oh, they're taut. Start bending at the knees. I want you to start actively extending on your way down, right? So one more time. Load the hamstrings, load the hamstrings. That's about all I got. Start breaking at the knees. And now you have that extension. It's not here to grab the bar. It's here. It's a slight motion. One more time. Extend. And you're actually going to feel your glutes kind of tighten up and fire. That's also what we want. Similar to loading the hamstrings. Grab the bar. Tighten your lats. Keep that extension. Push down and knees back like we talked about. Finish with the glutes strong. You're not hyperextended anymore. You're good to go.